在Shaolin社。
亲爱的游客朋友，您好。
Inside Shaolin Temple, birthplace of martial arts. This is just the outskirts of the Shaolin compound. These mountains you see here, this is where it all began. Right here we have a big empty training ground. Some of you might have seen this before. It's pretty famous, this spot here. If you come out in the morning, there's hundreds of Shaolin students training here. This is one of the many training grounds here. Shaolin 武术最好的。Take a little trip inside this one famous area. Don't actually know the name of this little square here, but it's been shown in a lot of documentaries and stuff. Across this cool little boulder footbridge. Some punching bags over here. I don't remember this being here last time, which was in the winter time. My wife and I came here, we were doing some staff technique. This might be new. These two characters are Shaolin. This is Xiao, and this is Lin. Shaolin. So they got these cool punching bags up here. Anybody want to come down here and experience this? We got a summer program going on. You can come for 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, whatever you like. Over here we got the tourists. This place is very famous. all around the world, but in China, a lot of tourists come here to visit. Most of them have no clue about martial arts, Buddhism, or any of this traditional history. To them, it's like going to Grand Canyon or something like that. They're not very connected to this traditional wushu or martial art culture. Nevertheless, it brings income to this place, and without that, I don't know if it would still exist. So it's necessary. This is like a park area here. I don't think I've been here before. Today I walked from my teacher's school, which actually was pretty quick. I thought it was longer. It only took about 20 minutes. I went down a little side route. Usually if you're outside and you're coming into this compound, the Shaolin Temple, you gotta pay a fee. But if you know how to get around it, you can. For example, I walked through a little side gate. When they asked me what am I doing, I just told them in Chinese, I live here, I'm a disciple. As I live in this area, the Shaolin area, but I don't live within the Shaolin compound. So it's kind of easy to get around that actually. Ah, what a lovely feeling to be in this place. Beautiful here. Okay, we're getting close to the famous Shaolin Temple. Here you can see a bunch of tourists up on the main path. I'm going the ninja route, kicking it old school here, because if you're by yourself as a foreigner here, and there's a lot of Chinese tourists around, they tend to stare quite a bit, which I don't particularly like too much. So if I'm with a group of people, Waiguoren they call us here, non-Chinese, foreign people, Waiguoren, outside people. If you're a Waiguoren, they tend to stare at you. Sometimes it's a bit uncomfortable, but if you're with a group of people, it won't bother you. Or if you come here as a guest for a week or two, you kind of feel like a movie star. If you live here, it can be a little bit annoying. So I might have to cross this road to the other path, because I'm not sure if I can get up this wall here. Of course, it wouldn't be China and it wouldn't be Shaolin without bamboo. Okay, my memory's correct. I walk up straight. There's a little bridge. Cross that bridge. Go straight. Should be arriving in front of the Shaolin Temple in about 2 or 3 minutes. Yeah, here we go. We're getting there. Alright, here we go. Arriving at the Shaolin Temple. This is the famous Shaolin Temple, the birthplace of martial arts. Of course, it's been burnt down and rebuilt several times throughout history, but this is the famous Shaolin Temple. And inside there's monks, wushu monks, martial art monks, but this whole surrounding area is filled with martial artists, students and stuff. A lot of tourists in this area here, and but this is the famous birthplace. When I come inside the Shaolin compound, I just visit here, just look around, you know. But my training, it takes place about, well, today I walked, 20-minute walk to my teacher's school, which is in the mountains overlooking the Shaolin Temple. So some of you might recognize this place. One of these buildings is really famous. It's in a lot of kung fu movies. If you've ever watched the documentary on Shaolin Kung Fu, you've seen this place. They always have the monks training here. This is a very famous building. This is one of the oldest buildings. This one existed after the fire. They had the government or some people burnt down the Shaolin Temple a while ago, but this building is from before that, one of the original buildings. As you can see, lots of tourists here. This is the most famous place within Shaolin, right here, this area. And with inside, you can see some of the historical places and some monks living here training. So this is it. Alright, I don't really like staying here too long. I like to come visit, take a look, and then I leave because tourists to me, are a little annoying because I've been living in China for 9 years. But there's another place I really like over here, which has a lot of Shaolin martial arts schools where the students are 2D disciples. They live there, and it's a little less touristy, and that's over here. Let's take a look and say goodbye. Okay. Here's another historical building. Some of these buildings are very, very old, and some of them are maybe 100 years old. It's hard to tell exactly which one's which. I believe this is one of the older buildings. Some of these could be hundreds of years old, even thousands of years old, and some of them are newer, within 100 years. But the culture, the wushu, and the martial arts and all that stuff has remained the same basically throughout the turbulent history of Shaolin. I personally like this area better, where we're going now, which is a bunch of Shaolin schools just outside the main famous Shaolin building. It's all pretty much the same thing. They all do Shaolin Kung Fu. They shave their head. The students live here full time. Some are vegetarian, some eat meat. It depends actually, because in Chinese culture it's tricky. The average person in China finds it hard to live without meat. So unless they're a strict Buddhist, they might be a full-time Shaolin Kung Fu student and still eat some meat. They don't eat a lot of meat. They don't eat big steaks and stuff, but they might have little pieces of meat sometimes in their food. Personally, I've been a vegetarian for 27 years. Troubadour about that. Here's another cool training spot. First time we came to Shaolin before I lived here, before I moved here with my wife, we came here and trained from a city we were living in before, which is Shenzhen. I had a teacher there studying Shaolin Kung Fu, and we came here and we actually had a film crew. 2 guys came with us and filmed a little documentary about my life here, life in China. Hasn't been finished yet, and we filmed some scenes here. It's changed since the last time I was here. Last time it was dirt on the ground. Now it's got stone plum blossom poles. It's for training your balance and your stances. This is a beautiful view over here. You got the mountains and this nice little beautiful farm. Very quiet, very peaceful. You see, you walk 10 minutes away from the tourist area and you got this beautiful nature here, which I prefer. Here's a little road leading to the area where there's a bunch of schools. Full-time students live. Shaolin students, full-time Shaolin students live right up this path. Some students hanging out. Here we go. Up this path, make a right. It's a really cool area with a lot of interesting schools. I guess those students snuck off to watch a little movie on their iPhone or something. Everybody has phones here. My teacher's disciples, they have some kind of simple phones, but they don't use them during the week. Teacher doesn't allow them to have it during the week. On the weekend, they're allowed to play with their phones. I guess those students snuck off to watch a little movie on their iPhone or something. Everybody has phones here. My teacher's disciples, they have some kind of simple phones, but they don't use them during the week. Teacher doesn't allow them to have it during the week. On the weekend, they're allowed to play with their phones. Here's a cool school over here. If you can see it, let me go closer. See this big school here. When we came here a year ago, before I moved here with my wife, we doing a little documentary, and my friend, Chinese fighter Yao Hongong, he's a MMA champion and Shuai Jiao, Chinese wrestling champion, kind of famous in China. I knew him a long time ago before he was fighting professionally. He came here to be part of my documentary. We did a little scene, sparring, hitting the pads, in the bag, and then we sat right here and did a little interview with each other, like kind of a little conversation. And if that documentary gets done in the near future, you'll see that scene. We're sitting right here, Yao Hongong and myself chatting about martial arts and stuff. It's a nice little school here. Got some cool facilities. A lot of students in this school. Probably at least 100, I guess. Some students before training. Kids here are really cute, man. Nice too, very friendly. Nice little kids. Train hard all day long, 6 hours a day. Trouble about that. 6 days a week. They sleep in a little room with like 10 other students. Winter time, they don't use any heat. Gets down to about 20 degrees sometimes out here. But if you come here as a tourist, you have a nice hotel, blah blah blah. The students who live here, it's pretty hardcore. They spar too, man. Every school I've been in this area before, training and living here, staying here temporarily before I lived in Songshan, and every school on Saturday morning they come out here and they beat the hell out of each other. This bridge we had a scene in my documentary we filmed 1 year ago. Me and Yao Hongong sparring, doing some light sparring here. It's pretty cool, right on this bridge. When that documentary gets done, I'll let you guys know, you check it out. Really cool scene right here on this bridge, sparring with Yao, who's a famous MMA fighter, Shuai Jiao champion. And little brother actually fights in the UFC, Yao Zhikui. He's a UFC fighter. We did a scene right here, punching the pads and hitting the bag. This school, I've seen these guys spar on Saturday morning. I got a clip on YouTube. They go at it pretty hard, man. Yeah. And then all these are schools. Right now it's about 12:30, so this is break time. So everybody's relaxing because they wake up really early, they run, they train for about 3 hours maybe in the morning. They eat lunch, they take about a 2-hour break, and then they go back to training about another 3 hours. So 6 hours of physical fitness every day, 6 days a week. It's pretty intense. They're all young though. The teachers here, some of them are really young. Some of the teachers are 30 years old. By the time you reach 30 years old, you're already a coach, or even younger actually. There's some coaches in their 20s. Students can range from anywhere from, I've seen them as young as 4 years old, up until, once they're in their 20s, early 20s, they usually become a coach, or go out somewhere, open their own school, or do some kind of bodyguard work or army work or something of that nature. Here's some more students. Guess they're just chilling out, resting, sleeping for a little while. This little square place in front of us, pretty decent restaurant. You'd be surprised. I stayed at this hotel a few times. First time I came here, this hotel right here with the yellow sign to the right, they got a decent, pretty nice hotel. And these students also in my documentary, this school, they do some really good performances, these kids. They do some weapon stuff and some really nice stuff. They spar too, really hard, a little sloppy, but they go at it, these kids. We got a really cool scene here in the documentary where the director's got his drone going, and they have mats out here and they're doing backflips, and you can see them from a top angle. It's really cool. Yeah, this little place is a restaurant with some decent food. Is it this place? Or maybe it's not this place. No, not this place. It's just the Shangdian little shop. I'm gonna get a cold drink while I'm here. This bridge we had a scene in my documentary we filmed 1 year ago. Me and Yao Hongong sparring, doing some light sparring here. It's pretty cool, right on this bridge. When that documentary gets done, I'll let you guys know. You check it out. Really cool scene right here on this bridge, sparring with Yao, who's a famous MMA fighter, Shuaijiao champion, and little brother actually fights in the UFC. Yao Zhikui, he's a UFC fighter. We did a scene right here, punching the pads and hitting the bag. This school, I've seen these guys spar on Saturday morning. I got a clip on YouTube. They go at it pretty hard, man. Yeah. And then all these are schools. Right now it's about 12:30, so this is break time. So everybody's relaxing because they wake up really early, they run, they train for about 3 hours maybe in the morning. They eat lunch, they take about a 2-hour break, and then they go back to training about another 3 hours. So 6 hours of physical fitness every day, 6 days a week. It's pretty intense. They're all young though. The teachers here, some of them are really young. Some of the teachers are 30 years old. By the time you reach 30 years old, you're already a coach, or even younger actually. There's some coaches in their 20s. Students can range from anywhere from, I've seen them as young as 4 years old, up until, once they're in their 20s, early 20s, they usually become a coach, or go out somewhere, open their own school, or do some kind of bodyguard work or army work or something of that nature. Here's some more students. Guess they're just chilling out, resting, sleeping for a little while. This little square place in front of us, pretty decent restaurant. You'd be surprised. I stayed at this hotel a few times. First time I came here, this hotel right here with the yellow sign to the right, they got a decent, pretty nice hotel. And these students also in my documentary, this school, they do some really good performances, these kids. They do some weapon stuff and some really nice stuff. They spar too, really hard, a little sloppy, but they go at it, these kids. We got a really cool scene here in the documentary where the director's got his drone going, and they have mats out here and they're doing backflips, and you can see them from a top angle. It's really cool. Yeah, this little place is a restaurant with some decent food. Is it this place? Or maybe it's not this place. No, not this place. It's just the Shangdian little shop. I'm gonna get a cold drink while I'm here. Got my cold drink here. I guess this would be like the Chinese version of a Red Bull, maybe? More students. Another school in here. Here's that little restaurant I was talking about. They got a pretty mean Di San Xian, which is like a dish with 3 different things in it. It's got potatoes, eggplant, and something else. Potato, eggplant, green pepper maybe, with some peanuts and stuff. Pretty delicious. A little restaurant right there. Okay, I'm gonna be leaving soon. Gonna walk back towards my teacher's school. From here it's going to take a while, 40 minutes maybe. I've already done about 2 hours of exercise, walk for about an hour and a half. And now I got another 40 minutes of walking. I'm going to train my wife a little bit, and then I got to do some more training. because Saturday we got a group of tourists coming, and I gotta perform and teach them. I gotta be on point. So that's the life of a Shaolin disciple. Get some more of this view. One of these mountains, I'm not sure if you can see it from here, is where Da Mo. Oh, I think there it goes, right there. Yeah, there we go. The Indian monk who came to China 1,500 years ago. Shaolin existed, I think it was 30 years before he came here, and then he came here and he took over and he went up to the top of that mountain. There's something, you really can't see it from here, but there's a kind of like a statue up there, and he went into a cave and he meditated for 9 years, and supposedly you could see his shadow on the wall. He was there for so long, his shadow somehow cast it on the wall. And it's a pretty famous site. You know, if you come down here, you must go up there. It's about a 40-minute walk upstairs. It's not too brutal. It's a workout, but it's doable. And then there's a giant statue of Damo. It's called Damo Dong, Damo's cave. And there's a giant statue of him, and there's where the cave is, but you can't actually go inside the cave. You see there's a door and a kind of little statue, and it's pretty interesting. And then see if I come over here, you can see some of the historical famous buildings here. We've kind of visited before, but this view might be interesting if you can see it from here. Barely see it here, but this drink I got here, it says energy drink. This thing tastes like it has twice as much sugar as a Coca-Cola. I suppose all that sugar will give you some temporary energy. I don't know how healthy this thing is though. Okay, back through the Shaolin Temple, out to the main road, and back to my Shifu's school. Okay, we're going back to the main area of Shaolin. All these buildings in front of you, if you can see them through this video, famous Shaolin Temple. Let's give them a little taste of their own medicine. The old foreigner stare down. You don't like that, huh? I don't either. I don't know exactly what this building is. I've never been in that one. Here's the Shaolin Temple, right across this bridge. All the famous documentaries, a lot of the movies have been filmed inside the Shaolin Temple. There's one room inside the Shaolin Temple, which is never been changed over, I think it's like 1,000 years or something. And you can see the floor has actually indents from the students' feet slamming into the ground. If you've ever seen, if you're familiar with any of the Shaolin Kung Fu forms, a lot of times you raise your foot, you slam it into the ground. So this has been done so many times in that one area that there's actually kind of a footprint in the ground from the students over the years slamming their feet into the ground. That room has been in a couple movies. I've seen it in a couple movies. Here's another little cool building. I'm not quite sure the history of this one, but it looks like an old one. In China, you see a lot of these very interesting buildings, old buildings, structures. If you've lived here for a while, you know, you get kind of used to it. But for me, because I love martial arts and the traditional Chinese culture, Shaolin is different. I mean, I look at this place and I feel, you know, something spiritual and special about it. It's really interesting, you know. Plus, you have the whole Buddhism aspect of it here, and that's interesting. Some more tourists. 他们不知道我住在中国. They don't know I live in China. They just think I'm a guest here. Alright, back from where we started. I love this little bridge here. You got these cool little sculptures. Here we have something going on. Looks like he's blocking the guy's attack at the elbow. Here we got the two monks. Look like they're doing some kind of application, possibly a drill, maybe sparring. Here we have, looks like one guy is trying to elbow strike the other guy, and he's blocking his attack by checking the elbow. Elbows are big in Shaolin Kung Fu, by the way. This one looks like the traditional arm banging drill that you see all the time. I just did an article on one drill called Bagua Kalbi. It's in this month's issue of Kung Fu Tai Chi magazine. That's a big thing here. This is a nun. Kicking the guy. Another kick. Obviously you can see he's grabbing with one hand and looks like he's blocking with the other. That's another application that's very common in Shaolin Kung Fu. The lead hand grabs. Almost every technique, well, not every technique, a lot of them involve grabbing with one hand, striking, locking, and throwing the guy with the other hand. Let's take a look at the other side before the tour bus comes and kills me. Kicking the guy, getting away. This looks like the same one as before. High block. So back to where we started. Here's that big famous training ground. I'm going to be leaving. It's a hotel up there, some kind of fancy hotel. It's one of the little entrances that I snuck in today without paying. And I'll give you guys a little tour about how I get back to my teacher's school. I'll take the little side path here. Beautiful view here of the mountains. Some cool little rock formations down there. Okay, back at the first gate where we started. Actually, there was two gates today. I don't remember where the other one was. This was one I just walked right through, no problem. The other one was where there's some guards and they asked me to pay or something, and I just told them I'm a disciple, I live here, and they just let me go right through. See those first two characters? You can't see from here. You can see from the bulletin board. It says Zhongguo. Zhongguo is China. I don't know if you can see it because it's so sunny out here. 中国白酒, Chinese wine. Okay, now I'm heading back to my teacher's school. This is the road from Shaolin Temple to my teacher's school. If you drive on a car, it should take less than 5 minutes probably. If you, or maybe 5 minutes, but if you walk today, I was surprised. I got there to one of the gates, which is a little side gate, in about 20 minutes walking. So I didn't realize how close it was on foot. Last time I went to the main gate, I remember the weather was actually much colder, but I remember it taking about 40 minutes. But today, in this nice weather, to the little side gate, 20 minutes.